Let's jump right into this explainer. What if I told you your cat actually has a secret, unspoken set of rules they expect you to follow every single day? We always kind of think we've got this whole cat ownership thing figured out, right? We give them food, water, some attention, but the reality? It's fascinating. Cats have this whole complex system of silent expectations, and today we're going to break down these unspoken rules, because chances are you're constantly breaking them without even realizing it.
So here's the big question. Are you failing your cat's silent tests? You know when your cat suddenly acts aloof or just straight up walks away looking super annoyed? It's really easy to think, oh, they're just being stubborn or mean. But no, that's a total human projection. In reality, they are quietly losing trust in us because we're failing tests we didn't even know we were taking. They're not going to meow and complain, they just pull back. So let's dive into exactly how we completely misunderstand their language so you can stop failing these tests today.
All right, let's look at rule number 1, the staring contest. For most of us, looking deeply into our cat's eyes is, well, it's an everyday thing. In our human world, locking eyes is a sign of affection and love, right? We gaze at them thinking we're sharing this beautiful bonding moment. But here's the crazy part. In cat language, direct eye contact is absolutely not love. It's a threat. This is hardwired into their wild instincts. Out in nature, a prolonged stare between two cats is exactly what happens literally seconds before a massive physical fight breaks out. So every time you lovingly stare into their eyes for just a bit too long, your cat is sitting there wondering why on earth you are suddenly being so aggressive.
And hey, this isn't just some wild theory. It is backed by hard science. A study published in the journal Animal Cognition actually proved that cats actively avoid people who stare right at them. But they naturally gravitate towards people who do something very specific. Blink slowly and then look away. That simple action is the neurologically correct way to say I love you in feline. So the fix is easy. Look softly at your cat, give a slow blink, and look away. Boom, you're speaking their language now.
Moving right along to rule number 2, the petting limit.
Have you ever had that incredibly confusing moment where your cat is happily purring on your lap and then, out of absolutely nowhere, they just bite your hand? If that's happened to you, you probably thought you did nothing wrong. Well, actually, scratch that. You kind of did. You just didn't know when to stop. Researchers call this petting-induced aggression. Cats have this highly specific neurological threshold for physical touch. When you repeatedly stimulate their skin, it literally starts to irritate their nerve receptors. Think of it like someone rubbing the exact same spot on your arm over and over and over. At first, it's nice, but then it gets uncomfortable, and suddenly it's unbearable. When that switch flips, they aren't being mean. They're just telling you that you crossed a biological limit.
So how do we avoid the bite? Well, the warning signs are always there. We're just usually too distracted by how cute the moment is to notice. Step 1, their tail will start twitching. Step 2, their ears will flatten just a little bit. Step 3, you'll actually see their skin physically ripple along their back. The golden rule here is to pet in short sessions. The absolute second you see any of these signals, stop. You've got to let your cat decide when they want more. They are literally trying to teach you how they want to be loved.
Next up, rule number 3, invading their safe spaces. We do this all the time. We do some innocent cleaning. We move their favorite blanket, rearrange the couch, or toss out an old cardboard box. We think we're just tidying up. But to your cat, you just destroyed something that belonged to them. Their whole mindset is, this is mine, this is safe, I belong here. Cats don't see your house visually the way you do. They map their entire world through scent and territory. Every single spot they claim gets intentionally stamped with pheromones from their face and paws. So when you abruptly move that blanket to a different room, all that hard-earned security, poof, gone. They feel completely displaced.
And this is a massive deal. According to a study from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, environmental disruption is one of the absolute top triggers of stress for indoor cats. Something as tiny as sliding a cat bed to the other side of the room can trigger severe anxiety, a total loss of appetite, or even make them avoid the litter box. So the takeaway here is absolutely crucial. Respect what they've claimed. If you absolutely have to move something, do it gradually, just a little bit at a time, so their safe space doesn't just vanish overnight.
Which brings us to rule number 4, the vulnerable mealtime. Let's talk about that habit we all have, standing over our cats, petting them, or sweet-talking them while they're hunched over the food bowl. It feels super loving to us, but let's flip the perspective. In the wild, mealtime is literally one of the most vulnerable moments for a feline. Their head is down, senses are locked on the food, guard is totally dropped, and that wild instinct,
doesn't just evaporate because they live in a nice modern apartment. When you hover over them, their internal monologue is screaming, "I can't fully relax. My survival brain is tracking you right now." Even if they don't run away, the stress is happening internally.
And the physical aftermath of that pressure is real. This internal stress causes cats to eat way too fast, which leads to vomiting, food guarding, or in some cases, avoiding the bowl entirely. And yes, this absolutely applies to multi-cat households if the bowls are placed too close together. The rule here is incredibly simple. Just give your cats total silence and space while they eat. No touching, no talking, and make sure each cat has their own separate spot. Those few minutes belong 100% to them.
All right, rule number 5, the crucial greeting ritual. Picture this. You drag yourself home after a super long, exhausting day. You toss your keys, check your phone, kick off your shoes, and completely ignore your cat waiting right there in the hallway. Your perspective is totally innocent. You're just tired, right? You'll pet them later. But to your cat, you just flat out ignored a deliberate social ritual. Cats do not greet casually. If they show up at the door, maybe with their tail up or giving a little chirp, that is a huge, deliberate choice to acknowledge you. Researchers note that cats form greeting patterns with humans just like they do with trusted cats. Walk right past them and they quietly file that away. Eventually, they'll just stop greeting you altogether because they learn you don't follow the rule.
But don't panic. The fix is literally just 3 seconds long. When you walk through that door, simply give your cat a slow blink, say something soft, and acknowledge their presence. That is it. That is all they ever wanted from you. It validates their trust and completes the social ritual.
And finally, that brings us to rule number 6, the absolute climax of our explainer, the ultimate trust test. This test revolves completely around where your cat chooses to sleep at night. This is honestly the most accurate, honest indicator of how they feel about you. If your cat sleeps on your chest or right up by your face, that is complete surrender, absolute trust. They are putting themselves in their most vulnerable state right next to you. If they sleep at the foot of the bed, they definitely trust you, but they're keeping an easy exit, just in case. They're still making sure you're safe to let their guard down around. And if they sleep in another room entirely, look, it doesn't mean they don't love you, but it probably means something in the daily routine is making them feel a bit unsure. Maybe it's one of the rules we just covered today that you didn't even realize you were breaking.
But here is the absolute best, most uplifting part of all of this. None of this is permanent. Every single day is a brand new chance. You can start applying these rules literally today. Stop the direct staring, watch for those petting warning signs, respect their little safe spaces, back off at mealtime, and just take 3 seconds to say hi when you get home. You absolutely have the power to actively rebuild an amazing, trusting bond with your feline friend starting right now.
So, I want to leave you with a lingering thought to chew on after this explainer wraps up. Based on everything we just talked about, where will your cat sleep tonight? Take a really close look at their behavior with these new rules in mind, and you might just unlock a deeper relationship with your cat than you ever thought possible. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and good luck mastering those silent tests.